Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, Steve and Kayla dress up as nuns, as a nun and a priest, to try to get into his convict or convent or whatever. And they talk to the I guess head nun, and she's like, all right, we'll see what we can do. Um, So she's like, listen, I'm gonna sit there and talk to the other sisters and just, kind of see what happens. So they leave, and then Kristen comes in, and Kristen's like, yo, who are they? So she finds out a little bit, and she calls up Ava. She's pissed. She's like, Ava, why is Steve here? Did you send Steve after me? Ava's like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. But she tells him that Xander was not there looking for Sarah, and there's a good chance that Steve decided to take the case. So Christian's like, all right, listen, since y'all both or whatever did me a solid, um, because Gwen, I mean not Gwen, Ava tells the reason why Gwen is so worried about trying to find Sarah, Xander trying to find Sarah and that insecurity and everything like that. Like once Xander finds Sarah, Xander's gonna be like, all right, Gwen, you out. So, Kristen's like, yeah, I know what that's like. So Kristen's like, hey, listen, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna do you a solid. And Ava's like, well, what are you gonna do? But she hangs up the phone before she can get any details. Now, earlier, she was there talking to Gwen, talking about the whole Sarah thing, and she is, congratulating herself on getting revenge on Ava. I mean, getting revenge on Rave. And so she tells Gwen, like, yo, listen, this is exactly what I did. These two guys. And pretty much what I wound up doing is convincing them to more or less try to paint Rafe as a dirty cop. So, Gwen is like, wow, um, isn't this the man that you so called love or whatever? They're going back and forth or whatever. And Xander, before they end their conversation, Ava's like, all right, listen, I need you to keep your mouth shut. Xander's like, well, what does she need to keep? We're like, well, why does she need to keep her mouth shut for? So Ava makes up something talking about, oh, it's Ray's birthday and, plan him a surprise party or whatever. So she leaves, and, Xander's not there telling Gwen, one second. Xander tells Gwen that, they're a lot closer to sit there and finding Sarah. Something happened when not something happened, but when Xander was at Abby's place, Abby was able to track down one of the pilots. So she wound up calling, I guess, the guy, but he didn't call her back. So they're that much closer to finding Sarah. Now, I don't think I actually said this, but the actress that plays Sarah is actually coming back. I don't know for how long, but she's coming back. So that'll be interesting. After all that, and before Ava talks to Kristen, she shows up at the police station to give, Ray some, dinner and stuff like that, or breakfast or whatever. And she's like, all right, listen, I'll leave it in your office. Now, Rafe was not there, going through all these complaints and everything like that. And Sean's like, what's going on? And Rafe tells him that, I'm being set up. And so Sean is like, I think I said Sean. Sean is like, who would set you up? Like, who would have a personal grudge against you? Because he figured, they want to figure out that, maybe somebody set those two up to do it. Like, but who would actually have a personal grudge? And he couldn't really sit there and think of anyone. I'm surprised he didn't sit there and think of EJ. But after Ava showed up, and she, put the food in his office, Rafe was like, you know what? I have a weird feeling that maybe Ava has something to do with it. Talked about the whole Duke thing and accusing her of pretty much chopping off Duke's head. Just even saying it out loud just sounds weird as hell. But there's one part where, you know, Sean's like, why would she do that for? And Rafe was like, she's kind of threatened by me and Nicole's friendship or whatever. And Sean's like, it's just friendship, right? And so Rafe lies. And I'm like, bro, listen, if you would have actually told him the truth, there could have been a good possibility that Sean would be like, you know what? What if she knows? Like, what if she somehow knows? But Rafe did what Rafe tends to do: lie. Oh, Rafe, see, this is the reason why I don't feel bad for him um, about what Ava's doing. Because you just lied to a guy who could have probably helped you out, but it was almost like it was your natural instinct to sit there and lie. You've been lying to Ava for a while, and this is the reason why you're in this little predicament. So, yeah. So, Chad, having a change of heart or conscious or whatever, tells Kate, listen, I'm just going to sit there and throw myself under the bus. Since you can't sit there and say, Lucas did it, and he's not going to let EJ just go to jail, for a crime that he didn't commit, regardless of how upset he is. He's like, listen, I'm just going to sit there and say that I planted it. Again, and I said this yesterday, the problem is that even if you change your mind, and I have a feeling he's going to change his mind, even if he changes his mind, you still help plant evidence, false evidence against him, to go to jail for a long time. You will be going to jail. Like, that's just a reality. You're going to be, or at the very least, you're going to be in trouble. But, kind of oddly, he walked out. Now, granted, I was there watching this on YouTube. So, there's one point where he walks out, but then there's another point where it's like, was he in a different part of the office or somewhere else? Because it's like, he was like getting his jacket and everything like that. And that's when Abby showed up. And I'm sitting there thinking, right then and there, you're going to sit there and change your mind. So he's talking to Abby about EJ and everything like that. And, about how he doesn't, feel that he should go to jail or whatever. Like, he's having something going on. And Abby's sitting there thinking that he is going to purge himself. Like, yo, don't do that. Do not do that. Like, you caught him. If he did it and that you have proof that he did, I want him to go to jail for a long time. Like, he deserves to go to jail. Um, yeah, he deserves to go to jail for a long time. Now, she decides to go with him because she's also covering something for the Spectator. She did get a little bit of more information as far as the pilot from Chad. But, with that being said, they both decide to go to the courthouse. I just have a feeling that he is going to um, change his mind at the last minute and just kind of go along with the original plan of framing EJ. He gets on the stand. He swears in the Bible, whatever, which is still a thing. I'm not, what happens if you're an atheist? Are they still going to sit there and make you swear on the Bible that you don't believe in? I've always wondered that. Like, just me thinking about that now, like, how would that work? So, we got to, from yesterday, Bella coming in, being like, I'm going to sit there and represent him and everything like that. And, Melinda's like, I don't know about how your company will feel with, you representing him. And Bella's like, yeah, I'm not worried about that. I mean, you shouldn't be worried about that. You should be worried about what's about to go down right now. That's what you should be sitting there thinking about. Now during the proceedings or whatever, EJ's like, I want to sit there and skip a jury, whatever. I don't want to skip a jury. I just want to go straight, just have you, have the judge, decide his fate. And Bella's like, yeah, we need a, we need a quick timeout. Turns around and looks at EJ like, have you lost your damn mind? I'm doing the talking. You're supposed to sit there and do nothing while I do the talking. That's how this thing works. And EJ says something along the lines of, "Oh, well, I don't know if a jury's going to be impartial to like the 1% or whatever." Um, Now Bella's like, that's just kind of arrogant thinking, but is it though? I mean, he already has a bad reputation within the town. People do read gossip and stuff like that. So seeing him on trial and also being the fact that he is rich, yeah. I mean, juries and stuff like that, they're supposed to sit there and be impartial. But the problem with stuff like that is that they're still human, you know? They're still human. They're still, subject to being impartial. And they're not perfect. And I think that's what it really comes down to. So when AJ was like, they may sit there and find me guilty based on me being a one percenter, I'm like, he's not entirely wrong. Um, but with that being said, that just kind of throws off Bella's whole case, as far as trying to rep him. And she's like, yo, listen, we need to do this tomorrow because you kind of like, you kind of threw me for a curveball. Well, Melinda's like, no, we ain't doing that. We waited too long. I'm ready today. You ready today? Let's get this started. So the judge is like, yo, we're doing this today. Um, and that's when he's like, calling his first witness and everything like that. And, Chad is apparently late. But how late was he? I mean, when somebody, I think the judge was like, oh, we're calling, Chad DeMero or whatever. And it's like maybe a 1 or 2 second delay. Then Chad walks in, and the judge is like, "Oh, I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad you didn't make it." I'm like, bro, if you was like, what did you think it was just gonna just the minute you said Chad, he was just gonna snap your fingers, he was gonna be there? Like you act like he was like hella late, like he was like 5 or 10 minutes late. I mean, I know time works differently in soap operas, but like, you can calm down. Like he literally walked right in there. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like, sorry for what? You didn't do anything. Anyway, he gets on the stand. Like I said, he swears on the Bible, and he just has that look in his face, like, "What you gonna do, bro? You gonna be honest? You gonna be honest, Abe? You're gonna sit there and when I say honest, Abe, I mean like throw Lucas under the bus, um, which will backfire, but tell the truth and paint the target on his back, or continue with the lie and let EJ fry, or you can do the third option, throw yourself under the bus. Which wouldn't matter because when this whole thing comes out, you're gonna be in trouble anyway. So it's just whatever you do, you're screwed out of the way. That's the way I say it. You're done. I feel like that's about it for the most part. I feel like I kind of covered everything. But before I go, I just want to ask a random question. As far as the new EJ goes, because I'm seeing a lot of stuff on my YouTube timeline of recommendations, and it's these compilations of Sammy and old EJ, and I've seen some stuff of old EJ, and the reason why I sit there and bring it up because I like new EJ. But with that being said, I don't have history of the old EJ. I just know that so far I like new EJ. And I know some people are kind of indifferent about it. Some people are like, oh, what's the old EJ? What's the I don't like the new EJ. And then some people it's like they like new EJ. And the reason why I'm sitting there bringing it up is because I think of General Hospital when they replaced Jason with Billy. I can't remember his name, but the other guy who wanted to become Juro. When he became Jason, there was a lot of I wasn't just say unwanted hate, but it was a lot of people like, he's not my Jason. I'm at the old Jason. And the other people was like, I like new Jason. Now, me watching the show as long as I did, I understood what both parties were coming from because I watched the old Jason and I knew the reason of why. I knew the reason of why he wasn't there anymore. And with that being said, it allowed me to, well, even regardless of the reason, it allowed me to appreciate what the new Jason or what Billy Wisnick bringing in Jason's character. Um, and so I enjoyed his take on Jason, but I knew that it was like, he's not the Jason that I knew, but he's Jason that's doing a really good job and he's bringing something different, so I can appreciate that. So I tried to look at it where it's like, I'm not going to sit there and hate on the new Jason, and I'm not going to sit there and bag on him because he's not the original character. I'm going to appreciate the new character for what he brings to the table, but I'm also going to understand the people that don't like new Jason because, you know, they that was the first Jason that they saw. So my question is, what is everyone thinking of new Jason? I mean, what is everyone thinking of new EJ versus the old EJ? Like, do you like new EJ? Do you like him more than the old EJ? Do you like the old EJ more than the new EJ? Or what are the things that you like um, about the old EJ that the new EJ isn't doing, and vice versa? Um, Let me know in the comment section. With that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I will see you in the next video.